So in this video, we are going to learn how to create sales invoice in Zoho Books on Shopify sale. Let's say you have created your e-commerce store using Shopify and you're using Zoho Books as a books and invoice management platform. Now you want that whenever you receive a new order in your Shopify store, you want to create an invoice in Zoho Books for the same order, for the same sale. So let me tell you, you can completely automate this process. In this automation, as a new order will be received in our Shopify store, first we are going to search the customer who placed the order in our Zoho Books account. If the customer do exist in our Zoho Books account, then directly we are going to create the invoice for them. And if the customer who placed the order on the Shopify store does not exist in our Zoho Books account as a contact, then first we are going to add that customer as a contact, and then we are going to create the invoice for the same customer, for the same order over here. Now, if you want to learn how you can set up this complete automation all by yourself, for that you just have to come with me to my screen.
So as you can see, here we are on my Shopify store. Now I want that whenever we are going to receive a new order on our Shopify store, we want to create an invoice in Zoho Books for the same order and the same customer. Now to do this, we have to connect our Shopify store with Zoho Books. And we are going to use Pabbly Connect, which is an amazing automation and integration platform to do so. Now to get started with Pabbly Connect, you will get a free sign-up link in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can set up your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. After creating your account and coming to this dashboard, we have to create an automation workflow over here. For that, just click on this Create Workflow button and give this workflow a name. Let's say I would like to name my workflow as Shopify to Zoho Books. You can basically give any other name as per your choice. Then just select the folder of the Pabbly Connect account in which you want to set up this automation and click on Create. And as you click on Create, here you can see the workflow will open in front of us. In this workflow, we have 2 different windows. First one is the trigger window and second one is the action window. So triggers and actions are basically those 2 concepts, those 2 principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's start with our trigger step. Now the idea here is, first we are going to connect our Shopify account with Pabbly Connect in the trigger step, so that whenever we receive a new order on our Shopify store, automatically the details of the same order will be received inside Pabbly Connect. Then after that, we are going to search for the customer who placed the order in our Zoho Books account. And if the customer already exists, in this automation, we are going to directly create an invoice for that customer. But by any chance, the customer who placed the order on our Shopify store does not exist in our Zoho Books account. In that case, we are going to create another route in this automation. First, we are going to add that Shopify customer into our Zoho Books account as a new contact, as a new customer, and then we are going to generate an invoice for them. So we will be creating 2 different branches, 2 different routes in this automation. So let's see how it is done. Starting from our trigger step, here in Choose App, search for Shopify and select Shopify version 2. After selecting this, here in our trigger event from this drop-down, select the trigger event as New Order. After selecting this trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Using this webhook URL, we are going to connect our Shopify account with Pabbly Connect. And to add this webhook URL, we just have to follow the instructions given below over here. But before doing that, what we have to do, here you can see this simple response button. We have to turn this simple response button off and we will be capturing the new order details from Shopify inside Pabbly Connect in advanced format. After turning it off, just click on this copy button and we will just copy this webhook URL. Now to add this webhook URL, we will go to our Shopify account. From the left sidebar at the bottom, go to settings, and after coming to settings, go to notification. Under notifications, you can see this option of webhooks. Click on webhooks and click on this create webhook button. Then after that, this add webhook box will appear in front of us. From the drop down of event, select the event as order creation. We will just scroll down and select the event as order creation. In format, we will go with the default JSON format, and here in the URL, as you can guess, we have to enter the exact same webhook URL which Pabbly Connect gave us. Just copy it from here and paste it over here. Then in Webhook API version, from the drop-down, select the latest one and click on Save. And as you click on Save, here you can see this webhook URL is now added in our Shopify account. Now, whenever we are going to receive a new order in our Shopify store, automatically the details of the same order will be received inside Pabbly Connect and this automation workflow will trigger. So here in our Pabbly Connect workflow, it is showing us waiting for webhook response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to capture some response of a new order from Shopify. So let's do it. I'll just visit my Shopify store and we are going to place a test order, a dummy order. Let's say I'm going to place an order of two products. The first product is AI-powered automation, this particular course. And then we are going to place another order. Let me go back to my store and we have the second product of digital marketing mastery. So let's add this product to cart as well. Now let's move to checkout. Let me just change the quantity of these products as well. So I'll just go back once, go to my cart, and from my cart, let me just select the quantity of this AI-powered workflow automation to 2. Let's check out. After clicking on checkout, here you can see we have came to checkout page. Here on the checkout page, we are going to enter the details of a dummy customer. Let's say the name of the customer is demo user. This is the email. This is the address over here. Apartment is New Street. City is, for example, Bhopal. State is Madhya Pradesh. This is the pin code. And this is the phone number. So just now what we have done, we have entered the details of a dummy customer. Now it is asking us for the payment. Now in Shopify, using a test card, you can make some dummy payments as well. For that, you have to enter the card number as one, any future date for the expiration date, any 3-digit code for the security code, and in card name, we have to enter the card name as Bogus Gateway. After entering these details, just click on Pay Now. And as you click on Pay Now, here you can see just now we have received a test order, a dummy order on our Shopify store. And because we have connected our Shopify store with Pabbly Connect, we will see in our Pabbly Connect workflow in this trigger step, we have received the response. And in this response, we will get the details of the exact same order. We'll scroll down and here in total price, you can see the total amount for which the customer has placed the order. The total amount was 16,997. So this is the total amount for which the customer has placed the order. We'll scroll down further, and because we have turned off the simple response button, you will see we will be getting the responses in line items as well. Like here in front of shipping lines, you can see we have the details of the product or the shipping details in line items, in advanced format or in some array format over here. We'll scroll down further, then here you can see we have the details of the customer. We have the name of the customer, we have the phone number, state, zip code, and after that we have the coordinates, then we have the countries and rest of the address too. Then after that, we will scroll down further, and here you can see in payment gateway details, we have this bogus gateway which we have used to make the payment. Let's scroll down further. In line items from this drop down, here you can see in front of line items, we have the details of all the products and the quantity and the price for which the customer placed the order. So here you can see in the line items, we have the details of two products. The first product is Digital Marketing Mastery, this particular course. The price of this particular product is 4,999. And also the customer has ordered the quantity of this product is 1. Then we'll scroll down further. And after that, here you can see we will be getting the second product over here. The quantity of the second product is 2 over here. The name of the product is AI-powered workflow automation. And the price is 5,999. So in this way, in front of line items, we get all the details of the product the customer has ordered. So the step 1 of setting up this automation is completed. Now after this, what we have to do from this array format response of line items, we have to basically simplify it a little bit, and we want to get a separate response for the product names, quantities, and price. And to do this, we are going to use a feature, a module of Pabbly Connect called Line Itemizer. For that, we will just scroll down, come to this Actions tab, and here in Choose App, we will just search for Data Transformer Pabbly and select it. After selecting Data Transformer, in Action Event from this drop-down, select the action event as Line Itemizer. Then just click on Connect. After clicking on Connect, the only thing it asks us is Line Item Array, that what is the response of line item which we want to simplify using this action step. So we have received the response of the line items from Shopify in the trigger step. So here from the trigger step responses, we have to add this response of line items to this data transformer action step. And to add the trigger step responses in this action step, we are going to use a process called mapping. And the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field over here, and here in this drop down, you can see a list of all the responses which we have received from Shopify of a new order. Out of all of these responses, select the response of line items. So we will scroll down, search for the response of line items, and here it is. After selecting it, the data will be mapped. After mapping this array of products over here of this line item, just click on Save and Send Test Request. And as we click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we have received the response. And in this response, you can see we have separate response for all the product details. Like in front of current quantity, you can see the quantity of the product the customer has ordered. And it is in the exact same sequence. The first product which we have added was of first quantity of 1, and the second product which we have ordered is of quantity of 2. So we have comma separated values of line items. Then we'll scroll down further. Then here you can see in front of name, we have the name of the products in the same sequence separated by comma over here. Then we have the price of the same products over here. We'll scroll down further. And in this way, you will be getting the line item details for each and every product over here. So the step 2 of setting up this automation is also completed. Now let's move to step 3. In step 3, what we want to do, we want to search for the customer who placed the order on our Shopify store in our Zoho Books account. So we want to search that whether a customer with these details do exist in our Zoho Books account or not. For that, we will scroll down, click on this Add Action Step button over here, and then here in Choose App, we will search for Zoho Books. Just select it. After selecting Zoho Books, an action event from the drop-down, select the action event as Find Customer. So I'll just search for the same action event and select it. After selecting this action event, just click on Connect and select Add New Connection. Now here, we have to connect our Zoho Books account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, click on this Connect with Zoho Books button. Then here in this pop-up window, we have to enter the domain name of our Zoho Books account. Now you must be thinking how you will get this domain name. So to get it, just go to your Zoho account and here in the URL section after books you can see this domain name. Just copy the domain name from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here. After pasting this domain name, just click on Save. And as you click on Save, here you can see in this pop-up window, it has detected our Zoho account which we have logged in our browser. Just click on Accept, and as we click on Accept, we will see our Zoho Books account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making the connection, the first thing it asks us is the organization. So it is most likely possible that in your Zoho Books account, you might have been creating or managing invoices for multiple organizations. Right now, in my account, I have created only one organization named as Pabbly Tudes. That's why in this dropdown, I have only one option. But from here, you have to select the organization in which you want to find this customer. After selecting the organization, it is asking us for the search text. That using the what text or what value or what response, you want to search for the customer in Zoho Books. So we are going to search for the customer using email. So we will just click on this field. Here in the drop-down, you can see a list of all the responses from previous 2 steps. Out of all of this, from Shopify responses, we will just search for the response of the customer email and map it. And using this email address, we are going to detect that whether this particular customer do exist in our Zoho Books account or not. After mapping the customer email, just click on Save and Send Test Request. And as you click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we have received the response. Now, if we get the message as success or if we get the contact ID over here, if we get the response of contact ID, this means a customer with this email do exist in our Zoho Books account. Let me show that to you. We will go to the customer section of Zoho Books and here you can see demo user. This customer with the same email do exist in our Zoho Books account. So in this way, what we have done, we have checked whether the customer already exists or not. If the customer exists, in that case, we want to directly generate the invoice for the customer in Zoho Books. But if not, we want to first add that customer in Zoho Books and then we are going to generate the invoice for them. So in the next step, we are going to create 2 different routes, 2 different branches in this automation. And to create different routes in the Pabbly Connect automation, we are going to use a feature, a module of Pabbly Connect called Router. Just click on this Add Action Step button over here and then here in Choose App, select Router. After selecting Router, an action event from the drop-down, select Conditionally Run and click on Connect. After clicking on Connect, by default, it has generated 2 different routes. So let me just rename the route 1 over here and the name of the route 1 will be Customer Exist. After naming the route 1 over here, what we want to do, we will just click on this Update button and click on Set Filter and Action Step. As we click on Set Filter and Action Step, this route will open in front of us. And the first thing it asks us is the filter. So we have to set up a filter condition in such a way that this automation can detect that the automation workflow should be continued using this route. So as I told you, we will be getting the contact ID in response from the Zoho Books Find a Customer action step. So we can set up a filter condition that if we get the response of contact ID from Zoho Books, find a customer action, in that case, the automation workflow should be continued using this route. For that, here in this filter step, in select label from the drop-down, select the Zoho Books, find the customer responses, and out of all of this, select this label of contact ID. Then in filter type from the drop-down, we are going to select exist. So if this particular response exists, if we get the response of contact ID from Zoho Books, this means the contact do exist in our Zoho Books account. And then just click on save and send test request. And as you click on save and send test request, here you can see, because the customer whose response we have captured from Shopify do exist in our Zoho Books account, it is showing us the condition is true. Now, in this case, what we want to do, we want to directly generate the invoice. So we will just click on this add an action step button over here. And here in choose app, we will search for Zoho Books. Just select it. After selecting Zoho Books, an action event from the drop-down, select the action event as create sales invoice. Then just click on connect. And because we have connected our Zoho Books account with Pabbly Connect in the previous step, we don't have to make a new connection. You can select the existing connection and click on save. And as we click on save, we will see our Zoho Books account will once again get connected with Pabbly Connect over here. After making the connection, here in the field of organization from this drop-down, select the same organization, but here in the field of customer, every time we will be generating the invoice for a new customer. So what we have to do, we have to turn this mapping button on in front of customer, clear the default response, and from the Zoho Books find the customer action step, we have received the contact ID, the customer ID. We are going to map this response of contact ID over here. After mapping the contact ID, the next field it asks us is contact person ID. So for this particular contact or for this particular customer or business, if you have created any kind of specific contact person, you'll be getting a list of all of that in the next field. But right now for this contact, I have not created any contact person ID. That's why in this dropdown, you can see we have nothing to select. Or you can select the contact's existing email address as well. Then after that, it is asking us ignore auto number generation. So here in this dropdown, because I want to automatically generate the invoice number and the other details, so I will be selecting true over here. Then here in the send step, in the field of send, because we want to directly send the invoice from Zoho Books itself to the customer, we are going to select true as well. Then it is asking us invoice number, reference number, template ID. All of these details will be automatically generated by Zoho Books. So we can just ignore these fields for now. Because it is a Shopify order and we don't want to set up any kind of due date, that's why we can basically keep the field of due date as blank. And if you want to basically add any kind of content into the Zoho Books email invoice which we are sending to customer, you can enter that subject content over here. Right now, I don't want to enter any kind of subject content. Then it is asking us is an exclusive tax. So whether the prices which we are entering are including taxes or not. So yes, we are entering the prices, all the details from Shopify, including taxes. So we are selecting true over here. Now, if you want to allow some kind of payment term or some time for the customer to make the payment, you can enter the payment term over here. But right now, because it is a prepaid order from Shopify and we just want to generate the invoice, so here you can see that we are going to ignore these two fields. If you want to basically allow some kind of discount percent, you can enter the discount amount in the invoice over here. But right now on Shopify, we are not going to basically apply any kind of discounts from the Shopify orders to the invoice. So you can ignore this field now. In exchange rate, because we are going to get the invoice details or the order details from Shopify into the same currency, and for the same currency, for Indian rupees, we will be generating the invoice in Zoho Books as well. That's why we are going to use the exchange rate as one. But if in case, if you're receiving the order from Shopify store in some other currency and generating the invoice in some other currency, then here in currency exchange rate field, you have to enter the current currency exchange rates over here. Then we'll scroll down further and here we will come to this field of line item names, where we have to mention the name of the products which we want to add in the invoice. So using line itemizer, we have received the response. So we'll just click on this field. From data transformer line itemizer responses, we will select the response of the name of the product, the comma separated name of all the products and map it over here. We don't have the item description, so we are just going to keep it blank. But here we have the line item rates. Just click here. From line itemizer responses, select the response of the price of the product, price of the items and map it. And here we are going to map the quantity as well. because these three fields are very important. So from the drop down, let's search for the response of quantity over here from data transformer and map it to. After mapping it, if you want to allow or want to apply some kind of specific discounts on the basis of the product, you can enter the discount on the line items as well. But right now, we are not applying any kind of discount, so you can just ignore these fields. After entering all of these details, you can just enter the rest of the fields as well according to the business which you are doing. Like whatever products you are selling and the region in which you are selling, according to that, you can enter the tax rates in your Zoho Books account. And after entering all of these details, just click on Save and Send Test Request button. Now, as you click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we have received a response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the invoice is created with the same details in our Zoho Books account. So let's check it. We will go to a Zoho Books account, we'll go to the invoices section, and yes, here you can see that just now a new invoice is created, and this invoice is of the same two products for the same order which we have just now received on our Shopify store. We have the same details of the customer over here. The name of the customer is demo user. We have the same product, same quantity, and the same price. So this means this particular route is working perfectly fine. If the customer who placed the order on our Shopify store do exist in our Zoho Books account, in that case, we are going to automatically generate the invoice using this particular route. But after this, we are going to set up the second route. Now here, let's rename the second route as customer does not exist. So I'll just change the name of the second route and click on update. Now we'll just click on this set filter and actions tab button. And this time we are going to set up the filter condition of the same field. So we'll just select the response of the contact ID from the Zoho Books Find a Customer Actions tab. We are going to select this label and the filter type will be does not exist. So if we don't find the contact ID in the Find a Contact Actions tab, this means the customer does not exist in our Zoho Books account and we have to continue the automation using this route. Now we'll click on Save and Send Test Request, and because we have clicked on Save and Send Test Request, it has given us a response as the condition is false. Now this is because the customer who has placed the order on our Shopify store do exist in our Zoho Books account. That's why here you can see in response, we have received the response as condition is false. Because in Find a Customer Actions tab, we have received the details of the customer from Zoho Books. Now to continue setting up this automation, we have to recapture the Shopify order responses in the Triggers tab. We'll come to this Triggers tab, click on this Recapture Webhook Response button, and after that, it has changed to Waiting for Webhook Response. This means Pabbly Connect is waiting to capture another response of a new order from Shopify. And this time, we are going to place a dummy order with a single product, but we are going to basically enter the details of a new customer which does not exist in our Zoho Books account. So let's say I'm going to order the same product, AI-powered workflow automation. Let's click on Buy It Now, but we are going to change the details of the customer. Let's say the name of the customer is Dummy Customer. So this is the email address over here, which we are entering dummycustomer@pabblytudes.com. We are going to enter the same name, Dummy Customer. So let's just cross-check that whether this customer do exist in our Zoho Books account or not. So we don't have any customer with the dummy customer name or email address. So it is a fresh customer for our Zoho Books account. Now let me just enter other details of this customer as well. Now after this, let's enter the payment details. So I'll be entering the same test card details once again. And the customer name on card is Bogus Gateway. Let's click on Pay Now. So just by using our new customer's details, we have placed another order on our Shopify store. After placing this order in our Pabbly Connect workflow in this trigger step, you can see we have received the response of this new order. And we have received the details of a new customer as well. Then after that, using this data transformer action step of line itemizer, here what we are going to do, we will just click on this refresh field button and click on Save and Send Test Request. And after that, here in the response, you can see that we have received the response of the new order over here in line items. Because in this order, the customer has ordered only one product. So that's why in line items as well, we have the details of only one product. Then here in Zoho Books action step, we will just click on this refresh fields button once. And then using the new customer's email, we are going to search for this customer over here. And if we search for a new customer which does not exist over here, here you can see in response, we have not received the response of the contact ID. So this means the filter condition which we have created in our second route is working perfectly fine. Now once again, we'll go to the second route. And now we have to first add this customer in our Zoho Books account. For that, just click on this Add Action Step button over here And then here in Choose App, we are going to search for Zoho Books. Just select it. After selecting Zoho Books, in Action Event from the drop-down, select the action event as Create Contact. Then just click on Connect. And because we have connected our Zoho Books account with Pabbly Connect in the previous step, we are going to select the existing connection and click on Save. After clicking on Save, our Zoho Books account will get connected with Pabbly Connect. After making the connection, select the same organization. In contact time from the drop-down, we have two options, customer or vendor. Because we are adding a customer, we are going to select customer over here. Then here in customer subtype from this drop-down, we have two options, individual or businesses. So we are going to add all the customers as individuals over here. Then in language code from the drop-down, let me select English. Here in portal enabled, we are going to select false. The customer portal is not enabled for the Zoho Books customer. Now I have all the customers from India, so in currency, I'm going to search for Indian rupees and select it. Then if you want to allow some payment terms to your customer, you can select it. But because these are prepaid orders, we are just going to ignore these field of payment terms. But here in the field of contact name from the drop-down, from Shopify responses, we are going to search for the name of the customer and map it over here. So let me just enter and map the customer name over here. Then we don't have the company name or website, so we are just going to ignore these two fields. But here in the field of first name, we have received a separate first name of the customer. So let's select it and map it to. Then we are going to map the response of last name in the last name field. The next field is of email. So let's search for the response of email and map it to. After mapping the email, it is asking us for the phone number, which we don't have, but we do have the mobile number. So we are going to search for the response of mobile number over here and map it over here. After entering these details, it is asking us for the designation, department. We haven't received all of these details, so we can just ignore these fields now. Then after that, let's map the address as well. So let's search for the address of the customer. Let's map the address line 1, then after a comma, address line 2. In the next field, we are going to map the response of city of the customer. From the Shopify responses, let's map the city. Then we are going to map the state over here. So let's map the state or province code. So here it is. Then let's map the zip code as well. So we'll just search for the postal code or the zip code and map it to. So in this way, all the details of the customer which we have received from Shopify, one by one, we have mapped all of these details into the respective field. After mapping all the details, we have to select the tax settings over here. So these customers are not tax enabled over here. It's taxable. These are not taxable. So we are just going to select false over here. After that, just click on Save and Send Test Request. And after clicking on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we have received some response. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that this contact is now added in our Zoho Books account. So let's check it. We'll go to a Zoho Books account, we'll go to the customer section and refresh this page once. And yes, dummy customer with the same name and same email address is now added in our Zoho Books account. This means this step is working perfectly fine. So if the customer who placed the order on our Shopify store does not exist in our Zoho Books account, then the automation will be continued using this route and we are going to add that customer in Zoho Books. Now after adding the customer, we are going to use the same action step over here once again, in which we are going to create the invoice. But instead of setting up the whole action step, what you can do, you can just go to the previous route which we have created and you can copy this sales invoice or action step. Just click on these three dots, click on this copy step button, and after that, go back to the second route, and then here just click on these three dots of create contact action step and click on this paste step button. And the exact same action step will be pasted. Now in this action step, we just have to make a small change, that is of customer. So we will just clear this field of customer and we are going to map the contact ID, from the customer ID from the Zoho Books create contact action step. So from here, just select and map the contact ID. And rest of the field, the rest of the details stays the same. After mapping the contact ID from the previous step of create a contact, what we have to do, we will just click on the Save and Send Test Request Action Step button. So we will just scroll down, come to the Action Step button over here. And after that, just click on this Save and Send Test Request button. Now, as you click on Save and Send Test Request, here you can see we are going to receive the response and the response is received. And now while receiving the response, you can see that the invoice is generated over here. After this, we'll go back to the Zoho Books account, go to the invoices section, and here you can check the new invoice is generated over here. And in this invoice, you can see that we have the details of the same new customer. So using the second route, we have created the customer first and then generated the invoice for that customer. So in this way, we have successfully created this automation using which whenever we are going to receive a new Shopify order, we are going to automatically generate an invoice for that order in our Zoho Books account. So not just these applications, you can connect plenty of other applications with Pabbly Connect. And one more important thing, you will find the clone link of this exact same automation workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can just clone the same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and start using this automation for free. Also, let me tell you, Pabbly Connect offers you a free plan. And in this plan, you will get some free tasks every month into your own Pabbly Connect account. So if you want to try and test this automation, you can just do it for absolutely free.
So if this video was helpful to you, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with others, or if you have any kind of doubts or queries, you can always write us in the comment box below or email us at support@pabbly.com. Also, you can post your queries on our forum as well. And if you want to check the pricing of Pabbly Connect, you can visit this link. So this is it for today's video. Thank you. Have a great day.